The raccoon has a long and storied history on the EDgun Leshiy channel, from the early backyard bully days to some of the more recent Trash Panda encounters. This critter has always kept me on my toes. Night vision, thermal, or just an old school weapon light. I've used them all in my backyard war against these four-legged bullies, but no matter the tools used, two things are always constant: a good story and an inevitable dirt nap. So, buckle up and grab a beverage. It's story time as we welcome some Trash Pandas to Pound Town. Speaking of which, that shirt is now live in the merch store. So you can shop the merch store directly below this video, or you can just click the link in the description. First up, the story of the bully triple. After years of sending it in my backyard, raccoons are really the only ones that I feel like I've got a pretty good handle on. In the early days, however, things were just as crazy as the squirrels and chipmunks. So I've had multiple bully nights, and on this night, it was a triple. I knew there were three out there, well, because I can count, but no, I saw them on the security footage before. So I brought two Leshiy setups down with me, one in night vision and the other in thermal, just in case things got weird. And weird they did. As I was settling in, they spooked a bit, and they ran up a tree just on the other side of this fence. And this is why I love having a thermal. I was able to quickly spot them up in the tree. They were just laying up there watching, literally straight down right on top of me. I got quiet, and it wasn't more than just a few minutes before the first one came down. It was facing away from me, but it kept looking back and checking on that mysterious red glow for my IR rally. So I timed it right, and just as he swung back one last time, I dropped him with a 34 grain right through the eye. Well, I know for some of you that might seem disturbing that it looks like it's hurt, but this raccoon is dead. What you're seeing is the nervous system shutting down. A few minutes later, that second one came down, but it was pulling peanuts through the fence for a little bit. And honestly, I don't blame him, as his buddy was just laying there about 5 feet away sawing logs. But eventually, it came up and over that fence. And again, just like the last one, he was facing away from me. So the back of their skull is pretty thick, and with an airgun in my hands on bigger critters like a coon, I'm looking for a path of least resistance to that off switch. So at this point, it was just a little bit of a waiting game. It finally had its fill, and it started to work its way down. I initially thought it was gonna just walk right up to me, but he got a glimpse of the IR, or maybe just heard me, and he stopped right in his tracks. I put that one right between the eyes, and it was a no-brainer. Pun intended. I waited for a while, and that third one was nowhere to be found. I even did a little zero check, as one of those shots that on the previous raccoon seemed a little low. Even smoked a rat. But maybe it was all that shooting, or his two buddies taking their forever naps below, but that third one was nowhere to be found. Just as I was about to leave, this guy came flying around the corner and walked within 10 yards of me. You can see the IR light come back on. It actually caught me off guard, and I was scrambling a bit trying to get a shot off, and without question, it heard me. And then it darted, and it took off behind the table for one. At this point, I knew there was no way that thing stuck around, so I decided to go out and investigate. I grabbed the thermal rig, and my buddy Brian called me just as I was walking out to get to the backyard. So what you're about to hear is the audio of me giving him play-by-play as I clear the yard. The audio is a little jacked as it's the mic on the thermal, but whatever, you'll get the gist. Alright, these two are smoked, but I know there's a third out here somewhere. Oh, dude, I can see it. Me, it's right here. Shut up, I was trying to get him to move. It's my Leshiy kiss. Dude, this is so sketchy. There's another one out here, I know it. I'm literally searching the backyard. I'm just trying to find this third one. Why am I so nervous? Yeah, exactly. I don't want to get jumped. Dude, where the is this thing? This is ridiculous. Oh wait, there's a heat signature. What is that? Oh, I think that's a rock. Wait, there's another one. Oh, wait, that's a rat. Man, there's critters everywhere. Jeez, look at them all. Whoa, jeez, that scared me. I keep scanning and I see the dead ones on the ground. Made me jump. Dude, this is right where I saw it last. It's gotta be out here. Oh my god, Brian. It's staring right at me. So I backed out, got the heck out of there. I settled back into my little sniper's hide and I gave it a little bit of time to come back. And when she did, she was on edge. She kept looking back, just like the first couple did. And I watched in time the movement again, and I just dropped her. This one did the bully wiggle as well, as the nerves were just firing off for a couple final kicks. And just like that, the story of the bully triple comes to an end. Now, I just gotta find a hose to clean up all this carnage. What a mess. I've got one of my favorite backyard bully stories for you next, but first, give me 30 seconds to tell you about today's video sponsor, the Ridge Wallet. Now, don't fast forward, just give me 30 seconds, guys. This is a super cool company. I mean, listen, they let me shoot their products, for crying out loud. So they are having a huge 10-year anniversary sale, and to get access to the best deals, it's really simple. You just have to use my link, ridge.com/EDgun Leshiy, and right now you can save up to 40% through March 26. So I've had their gear in my pockets for years, long before they started supporting the channel, really. So I was excited when they inquired about actually sponsoring the channel. With 10 years of great reviews and iconic wallets, Ridge is obsessed with making durable, space-saving gear you'll actually use. So you can stock up with a minimalist wallet, key case, ring, or watch for a more organized everyday. So if you're in the market for one of these cool new wallets or some of their other gear, make sure to check them out using my link, ridge.com/EDgun Leshiy. And as a reminder, right now you could save up to 40% through March 26. I will put that link in the description and a pinned comment as well. So thanks again to Ridge for supporting the channel. Now back to those backyard bullies. Holy crap, this is crazy. So that's a raccoon. That is an owl right there. That owl is he's going for him. Holy sh! For about 4 to 6 months, we had owls patrolling the neighborhood. I got to see some amazing stuff like that. But soon they moved on, and it was back to my responsibility to keep the critters under control. So, here's the story of the runner, where sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Piper's a magnet for skunks, and this time of year, I have to escort her out to clear the yard before I'll send her back to do her business. If you've ever washed skunk spray off your dog at 2 a.m., I think you'll understand why I choose this route. As I made the corner, I accidentally splashed the wall with my IR, kind of temporarily washing out the optic. A few steps later, and it cleared, and I saw this guy coming down the tree. Piper saw my hand and stayed put as I tried to steady myself. I was only about 18 yards at this point and had to contend with a little bit of a holdover because that was kind of an awkward distance, to be honest with you, especially offhand. I'm not sure what this guy was doing. Maybe he's got carpal tunnel syndrome is what. But either way, I got a cure for him. Shot placement is critical no matter what the environment, but in the backyard, I prefer a headshot, especially when they're directly on like this. You get the Trash Panda wiggle sometimes, but they don't run off too far like a shot to the vitals would do, and that's exactly what happened here. The shot was off, and I just pushed it bad. It was definitely maybe a little bit low, too. But the weird part was it was a really solid sound. I knew it wasn't a headshot, but it had that thud, right, of that noise when you hit like a raccoon in the vitals. That's what it sounded like. And in this case, That's exactly what it turned out to be. It turned out to be a full frontal. As I just pushed it, just went in the way that it was kind of angled. It was just super lucky. It went just left of its ear and just went right through the vitals. This thing, I yanked that shot so bad. But I think it hit it in the vitals. What's that? Got my white light on. Where is this thing? I thought I heard it hit the fence. What was that? What is that? Jesus. I think it went out right here. Oh, there it is. I think it's done. Let me zoom in. Oh, that totally is. That made it like 30 yards. Alright, that's my neighbor's backyard. I can't go down there. I'm gonna go walk down. I'm gonna put the gun down. I can't walk back there with a gun. That neighbor has chickens right there on the other side of that fence, so I'm sure they would have been cool with it. I just didn't want to be testing that theory at 2 a.m. With a Leshiy across my chest. Next up is a little break from the raccoons as I tell you the story of Skunk V Possum. The story of Skunk V Possum was an interesting one to catch on film. The owl's departure saw a big influx in skunks and possums coming out of their hiding, and these two had a little Mexican standoff for what they thought was a territory dispute. Instead, they're actually just fighting over who got to taste this new sleeping pill first. Clearly that possum didn't want any of that ass smoke, so it ran off eventually. And after their little standoff, I followed the skunk, waiting for it to pause long enough to hard punch it. I highly recommend not taking a hedge out with skunks, by the way. At least not if it's in your own yard. If it's in somebody else's, especially if you don't like them, boom, headshot away, as they will spray like crazy. You slip a little shot into the vitals, they don't really know what happened. They just stand there for a second and then kind of move about their way. They usually walk off just a bit, maybe 10, 15 feet, and then they collapse and take a forever nap. And that's exactly what happened here. That was just the perfect little hard punch. He walked over to the driveway and did a few circles before the lights went out. No spray on this one. And as the saying goes,
60% of the time, it works every time.
So onward we go. And this will be the final story of today. The story of Big Bertha. This raccoon was without question the largest one I've ever taken. Luckily though, there was no real drama in this one. Just a steady hand, a clean headshot, and a few extra for good measure. In my mind, this is how everyone should play out. But the reality is, sometimes you have wild nights of triples, backyard bullies flipping the switch of being the hunted to the hunter. A bad lucky shot. Nothing wrong with that. Or, like this one, when that big bull just comes walking to the light just how you drew it up. If you like shots like this, you should probably watch this video next.